Executive
Your
PA. So the only way cry.
okay. So can my host please mute everybody except my humble self? Okay, thank you so much. Please, as I was about to say, you're all welcome to our webinar organized by Bestie, and the title of the webinar is A Practical Guide to Move to the USA in 2024. Just like the name implies, we're going to be sharing practical guides. We have a lineup of experts, as you could see from the flyer, who will be talking to us about this moving and this migration journey. As you know, at Bestie, we are a migration fintech, and we are committed to helping the next half a billion immigrants migrate from their home country or source country to their destination country. So that means if you can think you can move it, we are simplifying human and capital global United States, from Nigeria to United Kingdom, from Ghana to Canada. Just think it, name it. We are that operating system and force for everybody who wants to move from wherever. Okay, thank you so much for recording the meeting. So, just to set out a few ground rules, please, I want to keep this webinar as interactive as possible. Yes, but even when I want to keep it interactive, would appreciate if you simply make use of the chat box instead. If you want to ask a question, please put it in the chat box or by raising your hand. While the webinar is going on, I believe there are going to be questions, so you can always just put them in the chat box, like I said, and I will be here to um, all those questions because please do not unmute your mic at any point in time so that we do not disrupt the flow of the conversation. Because, like what happened earlier, you unmute your mic, you're hearing two voices, like this one is talking, that's talking, it just causes disarrangement, disorganization. So we want less noise, let it just be our speaker speaking or myself as the host. Also, feel free to share the link to this webinar to your friends, your family, have them join. The more, the merrier. I promise this to be very insightful and engaging. Also, I would be for me personally, I'll be dropping the link to some clarity calls in the course of the conversation. You understand what I mean by clarity calls. So I'll be putting out some links here. I'll also put out a link to join our community, our Ghanaian community. So where would also be sharing more information about moving to the US if there's any need. um, Also, we have in case let me just remind everyone again as well. We also have an Bestie app that you can download. It is available for Nigerian users, Ghana users, UK users, Zambia users, wherever you might be. You can download the app. And aside migration, just moving to the US, we also have other financial and legal services that we can offer you as a person. I would love to interact with you. Okay, so just by show of hands, I want to see how many of my guests are here. So I'm going to be calling out their names. Please, you can signify with the hands up or just unmute and say, I'm here, so we can start the conversation. And yeah, forgive me, before I even start to call them, I should introduce myself. My name is Laura Lakbada, and I am the community manager. So I'm here at Bestie. So in the course of this conversation, I will likely be in your face. Yes, thank you so much, Prince Botang. Can you? Okay, okay. Are you one of? I don't think you're one of our speakers. Why is your hand up? Please tell me your message in the chat box. Tell me your message in the chat box. Or if there's anything you want to say or you want to ask, please put it in the chat box. Unless you're our guests, then I can let you speak. So I just want to confirm. Hi Hilda. Hi Frederick. Hi Olubumi. Hi Mr. Wale. Please, can you all hear me?
Yeah, Laura, I can hear you loud and clear. How you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hi. Okay. Okay. I believe our guest, the Fred effect. Can you confirm, Frederick? That is you, right?
Hi, yeah.
Hello. I cannot see all of you faces. Why is it my face that is showing? What's going on?
Hello, Laura.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Wale. Can you hear me? I want to believe you can. Okay,
I
so
can
we're
hear
just
you.
going to. All right, fantastic. So what we're just gonna do, to not take too much of our time before we start the conversation, the questions. I just want to quickly meet everyone. So I've introduced myself. Yes, don't introduce yourself as short as me, but keep it brief. Let us all get to meet you. So I would like to go first.
All right. Let me go first. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking our time out of your busy schedules to join us. My name is Okeyode Oyewale, and I am the Deputy Operations Lead here at Vesti. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. It's nice to have you here with us today. Up next, I'm going to call in a female in our midst today. Olubumi, let's get to meet you. Okay, while we wait for Ulubumi's network, just going to move on to Fred. Frederick, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Frederick. I am the brain behind the Fred Effect content creation channel, and I am currently in the United States, done with 2 master's degrees, and now I'm working. So it's great to share my ideas and thoughts with you today.
Of course, thank you. Your ideas. Thank you so much. Bumi, are you back now? Okay, so just to
Confirm you can hear.
okay, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olubumi Okwadoyi, Business and Migration Analyst at Vesti. It's great to meet everyone.
Great to meet you too. It's fantastic to have you here. All right, thank you. So we're expecting one more um, person from the team, Hilda. I believe she's going to be joining us in the course of the conversation, and you can also get to meet her as well. So, let's go straight to the gist. So the topic is the practical guide to go to the United States. And we all know the United States. So I would like to start with Mr. Wale. What are the different types of US visas that are applicable? Including the H-1B, the EB-2, and IW, because I know we promote those ones a lot. Tell us about the other visa types.
All right, thank you, Laura. So let's quickly get to it. For some of us that are not aware, a lot of us are just very, very, accustomed to the normal B1, B2 visa and the F1 visa, which is the student visa. And apart from those two, it will interest you to know that the United States have close to about 18 or 19 different types of visas. And they can be categorized into two. We have the immigrant visas and we have the non-immigrant visas. So, and under all these visas, that is where all these other ones, crop up. Like for the non-immigrants, that is where we have the B1, B2 that a lot of us are aware of, which is a business and tourist visa, and under which you can also go for your medicals, you can go for business, you can go for tourists, you can go for holiday. And under that one, we also have the F1, which is also a non-immigrant visa for students. Under F1, we still have some sub like F2, which is for dependents of an F1. I know Frederick can back me up there since he's also a student in the United States. And apart from that, we also have the B visa, we have the C visa, which is for transit. We also have the D, the F, the I, the J, the M, the T. All these visas, they have their own, specific names. But because of time, we'll not be actually going into all the details. But if you don't take anything away from me, I just know that we have close to about 18 types of visa regarding the United States, and there are also specifics to countries as well. That will be all from me. Thank you, Laura. Hello, Laura. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now. I was locked out for a minute. Were you done with your question, please?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. My bad. Thank you. Okay, so I believe what I picked up for my network was a bit hazy, was talking about the different visas, the size, the B1, B2, and I know that you made reference to our other guest here, Frederick, who is currently in the US. So now that we've put that out of the way about 18, 19 visas that we have to the US, can you provide an overview of the H1B and EB2 NIW visa process and requirements for me? I hope I was heard. Confirm. Okay. Can anyone hear me? Please, if you can, just let me know in the chat box right now.
I can hear you, Laura.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. All right. Hi, Olubumi. Please confirm you can hear me as well.
Yes, I can hear you now. It was cracking a little bit.
Okay, did you get my question?
No, I did not.
All right. So I said Mr. Wale gave insights, perspective to different visas that we have, like you mentioned, a few aside the B1, B2 that he talked about. So I was asking, like, can you provide an overview of the H1B and EB2 NIW process and
Okay, so
requirements?
before
Okay, and please, just before you answer that, can you hear me? Please, just
okay.
before you actually answer that, I just want to put out there that please, we are also streaming live on YouTube. If any of your friends or family are having issues joining in the webinar right now, please tell them to stream on YouTube. They should go to the YouTube channel and search for Vesti. We are currently live on YouTube. So I thought to put that out there. Thank you so much. You can proceed now.
All right. So before I would get into an overview of the H1B visas, I think I heard Mr. Wale mentioning the non-immigrant visas. So that would take me into mentioning the immigrant visas we have. There are several immigrant visas in which you've mentioned two of them, which is the H1B visa and the EB visa. Now we also have under the immigrant visas, an immigrant visa is a visa that leads to like a citizenship where you become a citizen of the United States. This allows you to work. It allows you and your family to come. It is a family-based visa. Now, under the immigrant visas, we have the EB1 visa, we have the EB2 NIW visa, as Laura earlier mentioned, and also not as an immigrant visa, but a work-related visa. We have the H1B visa. Now, I'm going to be giving an overview of the H1B visa. When you talk about the H1B visa is a work-related visa, more like you call the visa lottery. If anyone remembers the visa lottery where you put in a lottery, you and your family, then you get a mail where you say you've been successfully picked as one of those who will be beneficiaries of the H1B visa. This happens in the early spring of every year or whenever the USCIS brings this out. I'll be going into the H1B visa because recently the USCIS decided to allow the H1B visa to roll again. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So for this H-1B visa, it allows an employer to actually request for the presence of a fellow employee in any part of Africa or the world to come into the United States with the H-1B visa. So should you have like an employer in the United States, or you have a company you work with, you've gotten a job offer in the United States, and you're seeking, okay, how do I migrate to the United States without a visa? An employer can seek for you to come into the United States with a visa. What are the requirements? You want to ask, okay, what are the requirements? The first thing you want to know as a requirement for the H-1B visa is that that employer has to be well certified in the United States. That means the person has met all the labor requirements, is well registered in the United States. That is the first requirement. The first and the most major requirement you need to have is that the employer is certified, labor requirements met, registered in the United States, and meets all the tax laws. Now you have to ask for the EB2 NRW visa. The EB2 NRW visa is simply employment-based category 2 visa, national interest waiver. Now you want to know that the EB2, there is the EB2 visa and there is the EB2 NIW visa. What is the EB2 NIW visa? The EB2 NIW visa is mostly for people in the academic space, people who have advanced degrees, people who have big impacts in their field, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, business, entrepreneur, as the case may be. Now, you want to ask, what is national interest waiver? For you to get interest waiver in this, you need to actually show to the United States that you're bringing something to the United States.
Please hold on for me. I can hear other background noises. Can they please be muted, the host? Because it's okay, thank you. So Bumi, please, you can unmute and continue. Thank you very much.
Is it better now? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
National interest waiver is a green card option for obtaining the US residency. That is by showing your work benefits, the impact you have had in your field over the years, which is one of the reasons that we ask. Aside the fact that you have an advanced degree, do you have at least up to 5 or 10 years experience in your field? Reason is because looking at the criteria for the EB2 visa, it requires that you've spent at least a number of years in that field for you to meet this requirement. And you also need to have a business plan to show to the United States that with this impact I'm bringing into the United States, I qualify for a national interest waiver. So that's an overview of both the H-1B and the EB2 visa.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for that description. Please, like I earlier stated, but let me just iterate on that again for everyone who is just joining us. Once you've joined the meeting, you're welcome once again. Please unmute. Also, I would like to state that we are streaming live on YouTube, so the YouTube link in the chat box. It will still be, we continue to be posted on as we go on in the session. So please, you can share that with your friends, your family, and everybody who would like to be a part of this webinar. Post it even to your communities around you. So please, guys, let us please mute our mic so that we can actually make the most of this session. And to those who are asking about the recording, I think I can see the way the recording is going to be. We'll tell you how you can get access to it. So I'm going to move to ask Frederick now the next question. So we've been talking about the EB2 NIW, the H-1B, the immigrant, the non-immigrant. I think I want to go over to schools, which is what a lot of people are really interested in. So Frederick, what type of scholarships are available for international students who wish to study in the US this year? And, you know, can you also provide tips that can help anyone who is interested in moving to the US, maybe through that scholarship route?
Right. Thank you for the opportunity. So, the US has the most scholarships compared to other countries. It's also the most generous, and the next is that it's easy to apply. So, there are a lot of them. The first one is the merit base. So, if mostly you're applying for an undergraduate program in the United States, once you gain admission, the university will automatically give you a scholarship. So, for example, Anna Maria College based in Massachusetts. It's in a city called Paston. It's closer to Worcester in Massachusetts. Will give you about $33,000 of scholarship. If you apply to University of Missouri as an undergrad, immediately you get admission, you're being given $15,000 of scholarship. So these are merit-based scholarships. There are also sports scholarships. So if you're good in soccer, if you're good in American football, if you're good in basketball, baseball, there are a lot of universities that will offer you the sports scholarship. If you want to study a graduate program that is either a master's or a PhD, like what I came for, in most countries, what you do is that you apply for the school and then you apply for the scholarship separately. The good thing about the United States is that, like what I did when I was back in my home country, Ghana, I applied to the school to gain admission. And, as part of the application, I'm being asked if I want a scholarship. So that's how easy it is to get a scholarship. So once you gain admission, you are being considered for a teaching, research, or graduate assistantship position. So in my first university, I served as a teaching assistant. That is in Ohio University in Athens, Ohio. And then in my second university, I served as a research assistant. I applied for admission into the school, and automatically you're being considered for this kind of assistantship position. And so what happens is that the university will pay your fees, and then they will pay you stipends as well. So in my recent university and in the United States, fees are paid per semester, not per year. And so such scholarship is such that they pay your school fees and they will give you stipends that you can survive on. So depending on which state you are, you can receive between 500 to 1,500 every 2 weeks or bi-weekly. So there are a lot of these scholarships, and then they are also need-based. Need-based is like that depending on where you're coming from, you may be considered for certain type of scholarship. So a typical example of is University of Texas, A&M. When you are being admitted into the undergraduate program, you are being considered for a need-based scholarship. So it's easy to get a scholarship in the United States, even notwithstanding the background you have. For example, back in Africa, if you have a WASI results or you are done with high school and maybe you have a D7 or an E8 in your scores, it's practically difficult to gain even admission in your home country. Some United States universities or colleges will easily give you admission and scholarship even with an E8 or a D7 in your high school results. Recently, there was even somebody who had admission with a scholarship, even though he has one of the results withheld. So the United States provides you the opportunity, notwithstanding your background, to have different kind of scholarships which you can use to sponsor your education. Now, to give you the tips, you have to understand that back home, if you want to apply to any university, what you do is to go purchase the forms and apply. No, over here, you need to speak to someone. So if you have a bachelor's degree, you want to apply for a master's or a PhD, talk to them. And that's a major tip. Talk to the HOD or the director of the program. Try and share your resume or your CV and then your transcript. Ask if you'll be considered for the admission, and of course, if you'll be considered for the scholarship. So remember that a major tip here is that the scholarship, it's not given mostly by the school, but it's given by the department. So it could be that in the same university, the Department of Economics have scholarship for their student, for example, but maybe the Department of Geography does not. So if you want to know, so the whole process is not like a try and error kind of thing. You can know in advance whether you are going to get a scholarship or not, even before you put in your application. So before you apply to any school, try and talk to somebody. And then all over the world, US happens to have the most universities. There are about 50 states, and there are a lot of universities and colleges in almost every single state that you want to apply to. So basically, you can have a scholarship notwithstanding your background, whether you want to sit for GRE or not. Me, for example, where I used to be back in Ghana, there was no way I could have the finances or the time to sit for GRE. So you have to tailor your scholarship application or your study abroad application to the United States based on, your current circumstances in terms of your finances and the time you have at your disposal. So it's never true. It's a myth that, you need to sit for GRE or GMA. I did not sit for it. I've had two full scholarship into two different universities. So you can do it. It's never true that if you have a low CGPA, you cannot apply. So even some universities practically state on their website that they accept low CGPA. It's never true that you have to be extra brilliant. There are some of you listening to me now that are more brilliant than some of us over here. So it's possible that you can do it. So even if you have a D7 or E8 in your high school results, instead of rewriting or sitting for NAVDEC, I would rather prefer to get a scholarship in the United States and move. So there are a lot of these examples that I would like to stop here. And of course, if people have questions, we'll respond to them later on. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Frederick. Thank you also for debunking some of those myths. I know that sometimes people are always concerned about what they graduated with, like, oh, okay, I have like a third class was a particular kind of result, or maybe a very low credit, and they think that they cannot apply for a scholarship. So I think really information is key. So thank you for actually sharing that. And also letting us know that we can always apply for scholarships above to the US, since the US has the highest number of scholarships. So wow, I can actually see some hands up right now on my screen. Please, we will get to your questions. We're just trying to move through the conversation first. And I can see some questions in the chat box. I hope that we're able to take all of them, but we're going to try. We're going to try, guys. So I'm going to move back to Mr. Wale. Okay, so now we've heard about the EB2, we've heard about the student visa. What about options do H1B visa holders have extending their stay or obtaining permanent residency in the US?
Okay, thank you so much, Laura. Please confirm you can hear me, please.
Yes, I can.
All right. So, thank you very much for that question. We discussed the H1B, and of which it's also a very good visa category for people that is interested in getting permanent residency in the long run in the United States. The H1B visa holders in the United States often explore various options to extend their stay or obtain permanent residency. That is the green card that a lot of us know. The green card is also known as the permanent residency, the PR card, or you call it the green card. So I'm going to highlight about 5 parts that H1B visa holders can actually use that they can explore in extending their stay, just like the question that Laura just asked. The first one is called the H1B extension. All right. The H1B visas are initially granted for up to 3 years. So I must give that, information, and I want us to note that with the possibility of extension for an additional 3 years. All right. That is for the H1B visa. Extension beyond the 6-year limit may be possible if the individual is in the process of obtaining employment-based green card status, which is the one that Bumi mentioned the other time, which is the EB2 or the EB3 or the EB2 NIW. All right. So I will go to that now. The second part that they can explore is called the employer-sponsored green card, which is the EB2 or EB3. All right. Many H1B visa holders pursue permanent residency through their employers. All right. So common employment-based green card categories include EB2, and this EB2 is for individuals with advanced degrees or exceptional ability. EB3 is for individuals with skills. These are called skilled workers, professionals, or other workers. The process involves the employer filing a labor certification and then an immigrant petition known as the I-140 on behalf of the employee. So by following this route, they can also extend their stay Then number 3, self-petition based green card. So the self-petition base is the EB1A or the EB2 NIW. My colleague the other time, Olubumi, mentioned an overview of the EB2 NIW. Now, individuals with extraordinary ability, that's EB1A, or those with exceptional ability in their field, that is the EB2 NIW National Interest Waiver, can self-petition for a green card. All right. This part doesn't require a specific job offer, and the individual can sponsor themselves. All right. Number 4, family sponsorship. H-1B visa holders may explore family-based immigration option. It's also an option if they have close relatives who are in the United States and they have permanent residency already and they are willing to sponsor them. Why not? They can explore that route as well. And the last one, which I'm going to mention here on this Zoom webinar because of our time, is called change of status to F1. Like I said the other time, the F1 is called the student visa. So I don't want a lot of us to be confused with all these alphabets and figure. You know, they are just like they are codes, but they also have the full name. So we'll try our best as possible to be mentioning the full name so that we don't get confused. So change of status to F1. So some H-1B visa holders, they can pursue a change of status to F1 student visa to continue their education in the US. And this can provide additional time in the US, and they may explore employment-based green card option during or after their studies. And it will be very, very, very important to note this. Just like I said earlier, that all these visa categories with their alphabetical notations and the number notation as well can be very, very confusing at times. So navigating the US immigration system can be very complex. All right. So an individual should consult with an experienced immigration attorney to explore the most suitable option based on their 1, circumstances, and 2, their goals. All right. My own goal is different from yours. My circumstances is different from yours. My current achievement, my current status is different from yours. So I might be very, very qualified for a category of visa and you might not. And you might be qualified and I might not be qualified. All right. So additionally, immigration policies and procedures may change. So it's very crucial to stay informed about latest developments. And it is even most important for you to consult with an experienced immigration attorney. And that is what we do here at Vesti. We have our attorney on ground. We have them. You can actually book a session with them and consult with them. They will tell you which of these visas you qualify for, which of those visas you stand high chance of really, really getting approved for. All right. I know Laura is also going to, speak more on how getting in touch with our attorneys will be possible for everyone on the call. Thank you for this question and thank you for the time. Thank you, Laura.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. So yeah, just in addition to what you said about being able to get in touch with our immigration attorneys, we have posted the link to the clarity call. So the way to get access to more information, more insight on these visa types and how it applies to you is to come on a paid clarity call. So for the O1 or the work permit visa to the US, the EB2 NIW or the green card permanent residence, as well as the H1B, we've posted all of those links right here in the chat box. So please look through them. Whichever of the visa types interest you after this conversation, you can click on the link, book the clarity call, and get extended personalized guidance that you need in this journey. So I'm going to go back to school, Mr. Frederick. So what are the eligibility criteria for international students we consider for scholarships in the USA? Also, I want us to cue one bird, use one stone to kill two birds. So why can you also share like some of the documents that the students can use, so that they can be used to apply to these schools as an undergraduate student?
Great. So I'm going to match them. Of course, the eligibility criteria starts from, you having the documentation. So of course, if you want to travel, obviously you need a passport. Now, to be able to show that you have certain academic achievement, whether you have a high school qualification or maybe a bachelor's degree or a technical qualification, of course, you need your certificate from whichever institution you graduated from, and you also need a transcript. So let me explain here a little bit, because back in Africa, most high schools do not automatically give you a transcript when you graduate. So if you attend, a university or a college back in Africa, you as you proceed with your academic qualification, level 100 or 100 level, you have your transcript. Level 200, you have a transcript. 300. But when it comes to the high school, it doesn't work like that. So here's what I mean by, if you want to apply for a bachelor's degree and you have a high school, you go back to your school wherever you wrote your WASI or your high school exams, and then you tell them you need a transcript, and they are going to compile one for you. So you need a transcript. And if you are from an English-speaking country, you do not necessarily have to sit for an IELTS or a TOEFL. You just need a one-page document from your school indicating that, of course, Nigeria, Gambia, or Ghana is an English, Sierra Leone, Ghana is an English-speaking country, and so you can speak and write English proficiently. So you just need a one-page document to prove that. And you also need recommendations for high school, and you want to apply for a bachelor's, you need about 2 recommendation letters, but mostly for graduate school, you need about 3 of them, 3 letters of recommendation. Now, when it comes to graduate school, more of these documents are required. For example, you will need a resume or a CV, or curriculum vitae, as we call it. And then you also need, I've spoken about the passport, I've spoken about the certificate, the transcript. I've also spoken about the letters of recommendation, and then the resume. Or if you also have a writing sample, and of course for graduate school, you need to be able to prove that you can write well. So if you have a writing sample, and also a statement of purpose for those who want to pursue a graduate program. Now, the undergrad is the easiest to apply. So if you have your high school qualification, your high school transcript, your passport, and then these letters of recommendation, and of course, an English proficiency letter, is easy to apply to any school. Now, the tip here is that if you apply with these documents, you are definitely going to have a merit-based scholarship or a need-based scholarship. Now, to increase your chances of getting a full scholarship, as most of us want, that is where the SAT or the SAT or the ACT exams comes in for undergraduate. For graduate school, like I mentioned earlier, you may not necessarily need a GRE or a GMAT, and you can still have a good admission with, of course, a full scholarship. So practically, these are most the documents you need. Now, to be eligible, the eligibility criteria, of course, differ from program to program, and of course, university to university. But generally, once you have these documents, the next step you need to take is to contact the director of the program or the admissions office of the program you want to apply to. And then once they give you the go-ahead, you can submit your application. Remember, not every university or college in the US accept international students. So the university has to be CVIS approved. So you have to make sure that the university you are applying to accept international students before you can apply. If you apply to such schools or the universities or colleges that do not accept or are not, allowed by the Department of Homeland Security to accept international students, you may not even be considered for admission. That's why it is necessary that before you apply to a school, you speak to someone in the university. They have admission officers, they have director of various programs, or the department head of various programs that you need to talk to. Once you have a feedback from them, then you can go ahead and submit your application. Now, what makes the United States good compared to other countries here, other countries, is that a lot of universities in other countries will require you to pay. For example, in Canada, you may probably have to pay $150, $100 Canadian dollars for application fee. About thousands of universities and colleges in the US waive the application fee. So all that you need is to get your document, assuming you are trying your luck, get your document and just put in the application. I have no idea of any university in Africa, especially in my home country, Ghana, that would say that apply for free, whether it's a college or a university. Each and every one of them requires you to pay an application fee. So you can imagine that you pick your document and then you submit an application abroad for free and yet get an automatic scholarship. This is the easiest way to, and move to the US. So the school route is the easiest and the fastest way to move to the US. So if you want to get here, maybe by August, even by summer, which is May, there are a lot of universities you can apply to. Now, another good thing is that back home in Africa, most universities, when you miss their deadline for this year, you have to wait until next year. But in the US, there's always a university admitting. So there's a spring admission, there is a summer admission, there is a fall admission, of course, the fall being the major admission. There is a second summer admission, and there are even universities that has what we call rolling admission. What it means is that when you wake up from your bed and you think that you want to study in the US today, there is a university to apply to because they have a rolling admission. And at any point in time that you feel that you are ready, there's no deadline, you can go ahead and submit your application. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities. And of course, we would love to respond to some of the practical questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Frederick. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to move back to Olubumi. I can see your hands up, please. We are almost done. This is the penultimate question. After this, we're going to take the last one, and then we'll just go straight to Q&A very quickly. So, Bumi, please, just quickly, are there any specific, okay, Bumi or Mr. Wale, are there any specific changes or updates in immigration processes that people should be aware about, in USA right now in this 2024? Because, last year we saw some for UK, we saw some for Canada. So was there anyone for US that maybe we missed that you want to enlighten us about?
All right, Bumi, do you want to go?
I think you should go first. You already know the nations.
All right. So, yes, like you said, we saw a lot of immigration policies and immigration changes in the UK. Also, Canada, raising, welfare charges for students, most especially in Canada, from 10,000 to 20,000. And we also saw that of the UK, most especially around people coming to take caregiver jobs, and also students bringing in their dependent into the country. So the UK government, they are trying to cut down on the number of people that can actually come into the country with someone coming in with a student visa. For the US, there has not been a lot of significant change so far that we are aware of. And this is one of the reasons why, a lot of people want to move to the United States. All right. It seems their immigration policy takes a while before they, revisit and change their policy. And one thing that is common with the United States is that their policies don't really change like that, except for maybe when a new government come into power, or maybe there is a change in the minister in charge of immigration policy. But policy changes in immigration is not a new thing. It is even normal for it to change. And for the latest information on US immigration policies, I would advise that you check their official website. That is the US Citizen and Immigration Service, USCIS. And you can check www.uscis.gov and the Department of State Visa Bulletin at travel.state.gov. Additionally, I said the other time, consulting with an immigration attorney or seeking information from reputable legal and government sources is advisable to ensure that you have what I call the most accurate details regarding immigration processes and requirement. But the latest one I came across for the United States, I would drop this one, is for those people that are still thinking of paying their visa fees. This year, January 4th, 2024, there's a change in the United States visa fee, most especially for people in Nigeria. So in case maybe you you wanted to pay, maybe a friend of yours paid visa fee, student visa fee last month, and you also wanted to pay the same amount, I'm sorry to tell you that the prices have changed. So you need to check twice before you make that payment. So I think that's the major change that I think I can tell us for free here right now. And do not let us forget, I said the other time that consulting with an immigration attorney is the best, because that is where they live and that is where they dine. That is where they sleep and wake up. So they don't have any other thing that they do. So they get all those information firsthand, even before it gets to, major media houses, or maybe even before it gets to the internet. So they have their way of doing this. And that is why you would not want to make that mistake of not consulting with immigration attorneys or professionals that have gotten a lot of, wealth of experience when it comes to immigration matters and policies. And that is why we are saying that you need to, click on those links that have been dropped for any, maybe you need general clarity on all the types of visa that we mentioned today, or you need specific clarity on a particular type of visa. And I think you will do yourself a lot of good and harm. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Wale has said there are no changes. Well, true, if you're applying for most of the non-immigrant visas, I will tell you that there have been no changes, but there are changes for people who have been involved in the process. For example, I'm going to tell you that for those who have been engaging in the special talent visas and the EB2 NRW, they saw a recent change in the policy and the fees attached. Just a month ago, if you had applied a month ago, there's an expedited filing fee you would have paid. And if you're applying this month, the fee is different. If you're also filing your petition at the point and you want to pay for premium processing, initially there needs to be a process to it, but now you cannot file all together at once. What I would like to say about US policies is, until you are involved in the process, you might not know that there are changes in these policies, but policies change every day. So the earlier you get started with your process, the better it will be for you. So that's what I would say about policies. It might not be out there, as Mr. Wale has earlier said, but once you are involved in the process, you will know that there are changes every day with the US government. So that would be what I have to say, Laura. I remember you wanted to ask a question before you asked about policies.
No, I did not. It was actually the policies that I wanted to ask about. So I think we're going to have to start taking questions very soon. But just like round off this conversation, right? Are there? So I'm throwing the question out to everyone: Frederick, Bumi, Mr. Wale, whoever wants to go first. So, what kind of resources or support options are available for individuals who might have questions on scholarships, the EB2, H1B visa applications? So,
the biggest problem that you're facing today.
Okay, so for me, from my end, the good thing about the H1B is, as much as it is a work-related visa, a lot of people believe that you need to have an offer before you will proceed with the H1B. But the truth is, you can actually self-petition for the H1B visa. How do you self-petition? How do you register a company? How do you go How do you go from having a job offer to petitioning for yourself? Those are the things we'll be discussing on the clarity call, because on that clarity call, we'll be discussing what you have as prerequisites and looking at how you can also self-petition. There are a lot of people that self-petition for the H-1B visas, and there are also bodies who actually work in the United States to give job offers. There are companies that what they do is they give job offers for the H-1B lottery. And I hope everyone also knows that the H-1B lottery has two stages to it. There is the lottery stage and there is the petition filing stage. So the lottery stage is where, okay, you pay just a token amount to put in the lottery. And out of, I know the last time the lottery was put in there, out of 200 and maybe 64,000, there were about 60,000 people that were picked. The US invited into the United States. So once you put in the lottery, if at the time of the draw, your name is selected, then you get a mail from the USCIS that you've been picked. Only then can you move on to the petition filing stage. It is then they will start asking for maybe your degree equivalent, the job offers you have gotten, if you have any certifications, if need be, in the course you've studied or your educational background. They want to know if you have certifications, the job offer letter, if you have dependents and all of that. That's where you have that. Then for the other EB2 NIW visas, one of the major things is if you are asking for a national interest waiver, you want to show the United States that you have something of importance to show. You have something of value to add to the United States. Let me put it that way. What we call there is a plan, a proposed plan or a proposed endeavor where you tell the United States, maybe as a medical personnel, let's say I'm a medical personnel, you let them know that as a medical personnel, I'm coming to treat dementia in the United States. With this and this code of mind, this is how I'm going to be adding to the United States. And that way you can petition for a national interest waiver. However, if you do not have a national interest waiver, you also want to have a sponsor in form of someone who is well registered and has labor certifications in the United States to say that, okay, this person is employing me into the United States to come and do this, this, and this. Now you want to ask, aside the job offer, aside the national interest proposed plan, what else do I need? That's where I still return back to say, as long as you have an advanced degree and you have maybe about 5 to 10 years of experience, it's very, very about 60 to 70% sure that you will meet most of the criteria needed. Then aside the EB to NRW visas, for the special talent visas, the one thing you want to know is, do you work in critical capacity? Have you been awarded? Have you gotten publications? Have you gotten awards? Have you been invited to a panel session? Have you hosted panel sessions? All of this and more will be discussed on the clarity call. So you want to know, it's not about I qualify for this. The first thing you want to know is, how do I as a person qualify for this? Aside everyone, if I meet this and this requirement, okay, this qualifies me. How do I as a person qualify and also position uniquely and spectacularly for the opportunities that the United States has to offer? So I don't know if Mr. Wale has any other things to add to it.
Yes, thank you so much, Olubumi. You've said quite much, but let me quickly just add this little to it. It might be a lot of information coming in this little time that we have here on this call today. But let me start from the H-1B as well to just buttress our point that the H-1B, like she said, the first step is, to get all the names from all the employers that are interested in bringing in workers from all over the world into a pool. And for this year, they will be taking like about 85,000 people. All right. Like we all know that before Nigeria, like people in Nigeria were, allowed to participate in the DV lottery. That is the diversity visa lottery. But this time around, it's the H-1B. So for the fact that Nigeria is not allowed to participate in DV, you can participate in this one. All right. I know that there are some countries that are still in the DV, yes, but you can also do this one as well. And it might interest you to know that those people that will be picked, they will be notified by March 31st this year. That is in 2024. And after that notification, you are expected to start filing your H1B petitions from April 1st. And you should do this within 90 days. So typically the H1B application deadline will be June 30. So it means that you can still move to the United States this year. You can. It's very, very possible. And when it comes, a lot of us know that the US have backlogs with their interview dates, but that does not affect H1B or the EB2 or any of the special talent visas that we've mentioned or any of the self-petition based visas that we've also mentioned. So, like I said earlier, there's a lot of information going through your head, like, okay, which one will I even want to do? Even people that want to go for students, you might be confused on how to go about it. I don't want you guys to be confused. Part of the resources that we have here at Vesti is that there will be enough time, a one-on-one, like a one-on-one clarity session between you and our attorneys here at Vesti. So you can have all the time to, ask all the questions. Just bring all your worries onto that call. So there won't be, people, disturbing the call. It will just be you and the attorney, and they'll be giving you direct and concise question tailored to your own personal needs. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. When you said bring all your worries, I was saying I cast them on Vesti because we'll bear them for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I'm gonna give the mic now to Mr. Frederick, and then we will just take a couple of questions from the chat box.
Yeah, the study route being the easiest route to move to the US or the quickest route, there are a lot of information out there. Myself being, I have the biggest study abroad content creation channel as an African. So I have a YouTube channel, Facebook. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, wherever, I put out a lot of content that, I share practical experience going through this process, not having money. As people think that you need money to go through the process or you need to be extra brilliant to go through this process. No, so there are a lot of YouTube channels out there. There are a lot of Facebook pages that share ideas on how you can find schools, apply to these universities and how you can get these scholarships. One thing you need to understand is that believe in yourself, just like I said. Most of you listening to me right now were our classmates. Some of you were even more brilliant than we are. And not that some of us being here had money when we were applying. Myself, I applied to only one university. The reason was because I did not have the money to pay for application fees or anything like that. So I didn't even know I could apply to some schools for free. So you don't need money to work on this process. I think in terms of the student visa, there are only two major things you need, which is the visa application fee, about 185, and then the CVS fee. You can definitely apply to some schools for free. And then I share most of them on my YouTube channel, which is the Fred Effect YouTube channel. So in terms of school, there are a lot of information out there, a lot of universities to apply to that you can take advantage of. And definitely you will you also go through successfully. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Frederick. Thank you. So, due to time, we will just pick some questions, and for everyone who has more questions or need more insight or clarity, please check the chat box. We posted a couple of clarity call links. So just like Mr. Wale have said, bring all your worries or your concerns. We have a clarity call for each of these visa types. For the student visa type, the education route, the clarity call link has been posted on the chat box for the EB2 NIW or green card, for the L1 or work permit. And then we also have a general clarity call link that has also been shared. Like in case you want to just know about all of the visas and which one you qualify for because you're not certain, you can also book that call over or with the link which has been shared. So I see a question. I think I'm going to direct this to Mr. Frederick. So it's, Benjamin says, I've got a transfer admission to study in the USA without funding. The school says transfer students do not receive any form of grant. Please pay my tuition. Is there any way out?
I'm sorry, Laura, you were breaking a little bit, so I couldn't hear everything.
Okay, so okay. What's the question? Okay, so he says, I have got transfer admission to study in USA, that is undergraduate, without funding. Now it says the school says transfer students do not receive any form of grant. Please, what can I do to help pay for my tuition and living expenses? Is there any way out?
Yeah, so there are a lot of things you can do. First, congrats on the admission. I'm happy for you. The second thing is that there are three major departments in the university you can talk to. And I would want you to pay attention to this very well. So the first one is the financial aid office. So every university has a financial aid office. So that office is different from the office that gave you the admission. So you would want to email them, and when you search on the for financial aid office on the university's website or the college's website, you should be able to find their email or even phone number. Then you talk to them and then express gratitude for being considered for the admission, and ask them as an international applicant, what are some of the financial aids that you could access. The second one is the international office. So the international office is responsible for issuing I-20. They know all about international students. So you can contact them and also ask them the same question. The next one happens to be the department you have been admitted into. So if it is biological science, you contact the head of department of the biological science program. Do the same thing, express gratitude for being considered for the admission, and ask them if they are department-based scholarships you may be considered for. So if you do these, you should be able to have a way out. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Frederick. I hope that helps. So very quickly, I'm going to go to another question. I think a lot of them are really about schools. Everybody wants to go to school this year, in the US. Mr. Frederick, you're going to be answering a lot of questions for school. Okay. So this one says, okay, Elisa Pofo says, I completed high school in 2009. Please, is it possible to get undergraduate admission in the USA? I believe so, but
yeah, the good thing is that there are no limits. There are no age limits. Of course, when it comes to the visa process, you should be able to explain the age gap or the gap in which you left school. Of course, basically, you might have been working, which is great. So that will help your CV. So there's no age limit.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, can we get a recording of this event? Yes, you get a recording of the event. So just to get easy access to the recording of the event, I would advise you follow our page at Vesti Ghana. So at the Vesti Ghana, we have a community. It's a link in our bio. You can click on that link and join our communities. We're going to be sharing the link to this recording over there, and it will also be on our YouTube channel. So you can please feel free to check it out. Okay, so I think this one has been answered about the document for undergraduate. Okay, so someone says, please, I have BSc. Oh, I'm trying to get the name. Okay, Christina says, please, I have BSc agriculture background, but I want to do my master's in human nutrition. Is it possible to get a school in the US despite my BSc agriculture?
Yeah, sure. So the good thing about graduate school is that you do not necessarily have to have a background in the program you're going into. So I personally I switched from my initial field to public administration. So when I wanted to apply, what I did was to send my transcripts and resume to the director of the program. Now they asked me two major questions: that do I have a maths background and economics background? So what I mean is that you need to the HOD of the department, share your transcript. Sometimes they want you to have a certain prerequisite in order to, admit you into the program. But of course, the good thing is that you can definitely switch into any other field. So the fact that you studied a bachelor's degree in mathematics does not necessarily mean that you should pursue a master's degree in mathematics. You can definitely switch at any point in time.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I hope that helps. Very quickly, we have Mirabel. So this one is about H1B. It says, is there an option for work visa for dependents for H1B? Would me or Mr. Wale like to take this question?
Please, can you take that again, Laura?
Okay. I'm coming. The question. Okay, so it says for H1B.
Yes.
Okay, no, I can't find the question right now. Wow. What's the question? I just reloaded. Okay, so what I'm just going to say is click the
What I've
link.
seen on
Really, click the
class.
link in the chat box so that you can book a clarity call session. I am sorry I'm unable to find the questions at this time due
Laura,
to the bulk of questions that are right here.
I think I have seen
Yes,
one.
can you hear me?
Yes, I think I can see one in
Okay,
the for H1B. I believe a job offer is
okay.
needed. Does vesting link you with a US employer who can file for you? Okay, yes, I can tell you, yes, we do. Once you come on the clarity call and we are able to discuss how you are eligible for the process, you'll be getting one of our next steps mail. If you do not have an employer or if you are not willing to file for yourself, you'll be getting a linkage to a US employer who can file for you and you can take it up there. Would that be the question?
Well, I guess the person is looking. Not really. I think the one I saw was about work visa and dependence.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, yes, I couldn't. I'm trying to
Well,
scroll to see if I can find
talking
it.
about
But
dependence, yes,
yeah.
visa dependence into the United States, yes. So once you're migrating, you'll be migrating with your family. I can confirm that.
Okay, I think I found the question. It says, is there an option for work visa for a dependent of H1B?
Okay, I think this is better discussed on the clarity call because I need to know the requirements, like the prerequisites. What is the study limit of this dependent? What do they do? Their resume. We would like to look into it and know if they will be able to get work permit as well.
Okay. All right. That is most of the questions that I can. Okay, she said she was talking about the dependent spouse. Well, just like me, had said, it's all better discussed on a clarity call. I don't want to keep everyone here waiting and taking all of the questions. I believe they are due to lack of abundance of time in our hands. This is where we have to bring this webinar to a close. However, we're going to be having call it a part 2 of the webinar on Wednesday and part 3 on Thursday, on Friday rather. So we have inserted the link also in the chat box. I don't know, please, if Bestie Tech, you can please post the links to the upcoming webinars in the chat box. We appreciate it. We're going to be having another webinar on Wednesday, also about moving to the US. Another webinar on Friday, also about moving to the US. So please feel free to join in. Feel free to also come with your questions. We're sorry we're not able to take all of the questions today due to lack of time. However, if you want to speak to any member of our team or have a one-on-one session with our immigration lawyer, we advise that you book a paid clarity call session. So the links are shared, and if you still feel like you're not able to get the link or you still have one-on-one questions, you can always send us a DM at Bestie Official, at Bestie Ghana, at Bestie UK, at Bestie Zambia. And okay, yes, those are all of the those are all of the Bestie official pages. Bestie official, Bestie UK, Bestie Ghana, or Bestie Zambia. And we also post our reels and content on these visas like the EB2, like the school route, as well as the work permit and the H1B. So keep an eye for our post. For more information, like I said, stay tuned on Wednesday. Please please sign up. All you need to do is you can all request for the link on our pages via the DM, or you can also send a message on Twitter or tag us on Twitter rather, follow us on LinkedIn. And yes, please, I am very grateful for the opportunity that our speakers are give. Also, all of this insight our speaker gave us right here is so wonderful. I know I learned a lot myself, and I hope you did well. And thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much, Olubumi. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. Thank you so much, Mr. Frederick. If you have any last or final words, this is the time you can share them as we bring this webinar to a close. And thank you, everyone, for joining. So we can hear your final words and do officially close out.
All right, let's go, Bumi. Ladies first.
Okay. I think the only thing I would love to say would be, as Mr. Wale has said, you don't know what a migration attorney can do for you. You don't know what chances you have. You don't know what the prerequisites you're holding right now. You don't know the opportunities it can land you, either in the US. We're talking about US today. It could be the UK, Canada. Please, please and please make sure you're speaking to a migration attorney and you're going in the right pathway. And there are several pathways that can actually benefit you and land you your migration dreams. That would be it from me.
All right, let's hear from Frederick.
So a lot of us might think that getting admission in a scholarship or relocating from your country through education or school might be far from you. Some of us, like myself, did not have anybody in the United States. Neither did I have a lot of money. I wasn't the top of my class, and I've been able to do it. So you can also do it. Just take the first step. This is the day you need to start talking about where to get your passport. This is where you need to find out the professor who is going to give you a recommendation letter. If you've not ordered for your transcript, do it today. It is highly possible some of us have been able to do it, and so can you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Frederick. I just want to say this in few lines, that your dreams and your goals, they won't just come to you on a platter of gold. You need to take action. Even when you are looking for luck, in action, that is where you will find luck. All right. So you need to take those steps. You need to take those actions. Don't think about the obstacles, because a lot of us see the obstacles before we even see where we are going to. Close your eyes and act as if those obstacles do not exist. All right. So that they won't keep you to where you have always been. All right. You heard what Frederick said. He said he does not even have anyone. He even said it earlier on when he was giving some answers to some questions, that he knew that he doesn't even have money to apply to so many schools. He only chose to apply to one schools. All right. And that is why it is good for people to see clarity where you don't have answers to. Some people are already living the life that qualify them for all these visas, but they don't know. All right. That is why all these webinars that we are, bringing up is to enlighten us that yes, you can do it. People that, getting all those jobs, getting the admissions, they don't have two heads. They are just humans like you. But the only thing they did that is different from what you are doing is they decided to take action. All right. Take that action today. And by the end of 2024, you'll be sharing your testimonies already. Thank you.
Amen. Please, when you share your testimony, tag us so, because we are hosting this webinar for you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Wale. Thank you.
Some webinar links. Some webinar links are also still coming up later this week.
Yes.
On that. The links have been shared.
Yes, of course. They are shared. I will keep on sharing them. So from tonight, we're going to be sharing the links and the flyers to the remaining two webinars. This week, you will move. Also, we have a LinkedIn Live. Yes, I just remembered. We have a LinkedIn Live that's going to be happening tomorrow. So if you're on LinkedIn, you're active on LinkedIn, you don't, and if you're not on LinkedIn, this is a good time to create a LinkedIn account. We're going to be having a LinkedIn Live tomorrow on H1B visa specifically. So I saw some of the questions here asking about sponsorships and dependents. So I think that is the time that that is the life you want to be in. So you can ask some questions. Yes, at the end of the day, you have to still come on a clarity call, but at least you get more perspective because it's just going to be on the H1B visa and how Vesty is going to help you achieve that goal. So thank you so much, everyone, once again. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Don't forget to connect with us and sign up for our mini webinars. See you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody. And thank you for watching us from all around the world.